I'm Emma, 27 years old, and I never thought I'd meet someone who looked exactly like my ex. Yet, here I am, sitting in a small cafe in Portland, sipping my caramel latte as rain taps softly against the window. My heart is heavy with memories I thought I'd buried, memories of Ryan, the one who taught me what love feels like and what it means to lose it. Ryan was my first love. He had the kind of charm that made people instantly trust him, and the mischievous eyes that could make me forget my own name. Our relationship ended 2 years ago, abruptly, leaving a space in my heart I couldn't fill. I thought I had moved on. I told myself I was strong. But now, staring across the cafe, I felt something familiar stir, a strange mixture of excitement and dread. He walked in, tall, dark-haired, wearing a navy coat that somehow seemed to fit him perfectly. And then I saw him. My stomach dropped, my hands trembled slightly, and for a moment, I couldn't breathe. He looked exactly like Ryan, not just vaguely or in a maybe way. No, this was precise. Same crooked smile, same sharp jawline, same mischievous sparkle in his eyes. Even his posture carried the same effortless confidence. I told myself to look away. He's a stranger, Emma. You're imagining things. But my eyes betrayed me, drawn to him despite myself. He scanned the cafe for a free table, chose one in the corner, and unpacked his laptop. My heartbeat thudded in my ears as I sipped my latte, trying to calm the rising panic in my chest. This is just coincidence, I kept telling myself. It has to be. Yet over the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about him. Every walk past that cafe, every glance at my phone hoping for a message, felt like chasing a ghost. And then, fate, or maybe sheer luck, intervened. A week later, at a networking event downtown, I saw him again. Alone, near the refreshments table, looking as calm and composed as ever. My heart pounded. "Hi," I said, my voice shaking slightly. He looked up, and the same smile, the one that haunted my dreams, spread across his face. "Hi," he said, tilting his head. "You look familiar. Have we met before?" I laughed nervously. "I don't think so. Maybe in another life?" He chuckled, and something about the sound made my chest tighten. "Maybe." We talked for hours. His name was Ethan Cole. He had just moved to Portland from Seattle and worked as a software designer. Conversation flowed effortlessly, yet a subtle tension hovered beneath the surface, an invisible thread linking him to Ryan, and yet distinguishing him entirely. Over the next few weeks, our encounters became deliberate. Coffee, walks in the park, bookshop browsing, casual dinners. Each meeting drew me closer, yet every smile, every laugh reminded me painfully of Ryan. I tried to separate the two, but it wasn't easy. Ethan was his own person, yes, but the resemblance was uncanny, and my heart struggled to distinguish memory from reality. One evening, over pasta and candlelight at a small Italian restaurant, I found myself sharing everything. The heartbreak, the fear of moving on, the lingering memory of Ryan. Ethan listened, really listened, nodding and offering gentle smiles. "I'm glad you shared that with me," he said, his hand brushing mine across the table. "I hope I don't scare you away by looking like him." I laughed, tears threatening to spill. "You already have me confused." After dinner, walking home in the rain, I realized I was terrified and exhilarated at once. Could I trust someone again? Could I fall for a stranger who reminded me so strongly of someone I had loved and lost? The next weeks were filled with moments that seemed ordinary and extraordinary all at once. Sunday brunches, spontaneous drives along the Oregon coast, rainy walks under shared umbrellas. Ethan was patient, funny, and attentive. Each gesture, small and subtle, anchored me to the present. Yet, the resemblance to Ryan always lingered. There were fleeting moments, his laugh, his smile, a glance, that pulled me backward into memory. I questioned myself. Was this love for Ethan, or a projection of someone I had lost? Claire, my best friend, noticed the change immediately. "You're glowing," she said one Friday evening over wine. "Who's making you like this?" I hesitated. "His name's Ethan, but it's complicated. He looks like Ryan," Claire gasped. Emma, seriously? You're dating your past? I know, it sounds crazy, I admitted. But Ethan is different. He's real. And I can't help how I feel. And she was right. I couldn't help it. Despite my lingering doubts, I was falling for him. Weeks turned into months. We cooked together, explored the city, and shared our fears, dreams, and secrets. Each laugh, each touch, each whispered word brought us closer, and yet, a shadow of uncertainty remained. Sometimes Ethan's familiar features would catch me off guard, leaving me questioning the line between past and present. Then came the day that tested me the most. I received a message from Ryan out of the blue. My heart stuttered. Seeing his name on my screen triggered a flood of memories. Our first date, our fights, our laughter, our heartbreak. Ethan noticed my tension immediately. "Everything okay?" he asked. I nodded, but my mind was racing. "I need to focus. Ethan is here. Ethan is now." That night, walking home, Ethan held my hand. "Talk to me," he said softly. I'm scared," I admitted. "Sometimes I feel like I'm falling for someone who reminds me of my past, and I don't know if I can separate the two." He squeezed my hand. "You don't have to. We'll figure it out together. I'm not here to replace anyone. I'm here because I want you. Because I see you, Emma, not your past." His words were a balm to my tangled heart. Slowly, hope began to replace fear. Maybe love wasn't about erasing the past. Maybe it was about living fully in the present, with someone who sees you as you are now. The weeks that followed deepened our connection. Stolen kisses in the rain, quiet nights talking, early morning coffees, lazy Sunday walks. They became our routine. And with each passing day, Ethan became less of a reflection of my past and more of the man I was falling in love with. Yet, deep down, I knew challenges awaited. A test of our love was coming, one that would force me to confront the ghost of Ryan and decide whether my heart truly belonged to Ethan. The days that followed blurred into a comforting routine of laughter, small adventures, and quiet intimacy. Ethan and I were growing closer with every passing moment. Yet the ghost of my past lingered like a shadow in the corner of my heart. Even now, months into our relationship, I found myself pausing when he laughed in a certain way or tilted his head just so. The resemblance to Ryan wasn't gone. It was subtle but persistent. But I had learned to focus on the man in front of me. It was a Friday evening, and Ethan had invited me over for a movie night. He always insisted on homemade popcorn, claiming it made everything better. I arrived at his apartment, greeted by the warm scent of garlic from an earlier dinner he'd cooked and the cozy glow of string lights around the living room. "You ready for a movie marathon?" he asked, smiling as he held the door for me. I laughed. "As long as the popcorn's fresh and you promise not to pick horror movies that make me scream every 5 minutes. "Deal," he said, and the warmth of his voice made my chest ache in the best possible way. We spent the evening curled up on the couch, sharing blankets and stories. Ethan told me about his childhood in Seattle, his awkward teenage years, and his first job in tech. I listened, captivated, feeling closer to him than I had with anyone in years. His life was different from Ryan's, more grounded, more thoughtful, more complete. And yet, the tiny echoes of my past were always there, reminding me of the heartbreak I had once endured. Weeks later, Ethan planned a weekend getaway to the Oregon coast. The drive was filled with music, laughter, and quiet moments where we held hands, fingers entwined, silently acknowledging the bond growing between us. By the time we arrived at a small beachside cabin, I felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. I had never been so vulnerable with anyone, yet I trusted him with pieces of my heart I had thought were irreparable. On the second night, we walked along the shore under a moonlit sky. The waves crashed against the rocks, rhythmic and soothing. Ethan reached for my hand. "Emma," he said softly, "I know the past is still with you, and I want you to know you don't have to fight it alone. I'm here, fully, for you." Tears pricked my eyes. "I know, and I'm trying. Every day I'm trying to let go of the past and embrace what's in front of me." He smiled, brushing a wet strand of hair behind my ear. And that's all I need. The days that followed were blissful, but as in any relationship, challenges arose. One afternoon, during a casual lunch with friends, someone mentioned Ryan. My stomach tightened, and I realized I wasn't ready to confront the past so openly. Ethan noticed my sudden withdrawal. "Emma, what's wrong?" he asked, concern flickering across his face. I hesitated. "It's nothing," I said, but my voice wavered. He took my hand gently. "You know you can tell me anything. I'm not here to judge or replace anyone. I just want to be part of your life, all of it." The honesty in his words made my heart ache with longing and gratitude. Slowly, I realized that confronting my past didn't weaken my love for Ethan. It made it stronger. A few weeks later, things escalated in ways I hadn't anticipated. Ryan had reached out again, sending a casual message that seemed harmless but stirred a storm of emotions. I froze when I saw his name pop up on my phone screen. Ethan noticed my reaction immediately. "Emma, talk to me," he said softly. I can't," I admitted. Seeing him, it brings back everything. The heartbreak, the longing, the mistakes. I'm scared I'll never be able to fully move on. Ethan's eyes softened. "Emma, you're human. You're allowed to feel all of that. But remember, he's part of your past. I'm part of your present, and I want to be part of your future." That night, as we sat together in silence, I realized something profound. Ethan wasn't Ryan, and loving him didn't mean I was betraying my memories. It meant I was allowing myself to grow, to trust, and to hope again. The turning point came a few days later. Ethan planned a surprise for me, a rooftop dinner overlooking the city, with fairy lights casting a warm glow around us. I arrived astonished by the effort he had put in. "I wanted tonight to be special," he said, smiling. "Just us. No past, no distractions. Just you and me." We ate, laughed, and shared stories long into the night. As the city lights twinkled below, Ethan took my hand and looked into my eyes. "Emma," he whispered, "I know I resemble someone from your past. But I'm not him. I'm Ethan, and I want to spend my life with you. Will you let me?" My heart surged. All the fear, all the hesitation, all the lingering doubts melted away. "Yes," I breathed, tears of joy streaming down my face. That night, standing on the rooftop, I realized that love wasn't about erasing the past. It was about embracing the present and daring to hope for the future. Ethan and I were not perfect, and our journey was far from over, but we had each other, and that was enough. In the weeks that followed, our relationship blossomed fully. We faced challenges, yes, but every test made our bond stronger. I learned to separate memory from reality, to honor the past without letting it dominate my present. And most importantly, I discovered that my heart could heal, love and trust again. Months later, as we moved in together, I looked around at our shared apartment, filled with laughter, warmth, and small reminders of our life together. Ethan's presence was steady, grounding, and comforting. For the first time in years, I felt whole. I had married a stranger who looked like my ex, but he was more than a reflection. He was my partner, my confidant, my love. And as I held his hand that night, watching the city lights flicker outside our window, I knew that this was the beginning of a love story that was truly mine. The past would always be a part of me, but it no longer dictated my happiness. I had found love again, real and enduring in the most unexpected way. And this time I wasn't afraid to embrace it.